Good evening, everyone. It's Let Me See Your Transcript, your very favorite history teacher. And today I'm bringing to you another episode, uh, episode 2 of African American Greed, this time featuring Mr. Jay Morrison, whose favorite quote is business is formalized hustle, hustle is informal business. Thank you so much for being here with me today. And thank you so much for dealing with my technical difficulties and being late. The school year has started, you know, and I'm having students emailing me and calling me and all that kind of things. And so that's, affecting my schedule. But thank you so much for being here patiently, waiting here for me. And today, I know the last couple of weeks I have been talking about Umar Johnson, who actually was my very first one in my African American Greed series. Made his the very first episode. It wasn't live, but it was about a few months ago. And then I've done some series of videos. And so this past couple of weeks, I've been seeing this another man named Jay Morrison. Ironically, he has the same birth name as Umar Johnson. Umar Johnson's birth name is Jermaine, and Jay Morrison's first name is actually Jermaine, but he goes by Jay. And it's just like I've been hearing a lot of things about Jay Morrison, and one of the things. Oh wow! You really? How well did you like him? Was he coming there to help the community, or was he coming there to like help sell some stuff to the community? Oh, it's horrible to happen to Alfred Wade. Hey, Roxanne. Hey, Dog Cigar. Money No Love. Tanika, thanks for holding it down. Jacqueline, Vines, Monica G. Thank you for being here. Oh wow, it's really horrible to it happens to that man, but I'm just after learning what we'll see if you still think of him the same after you see what I'm about to show you today. So you understand, hey McCray Kings, one of the focuses of my channel is not only to teach people how to do certain things like research, um, and more about social justice, more about the LGBTQIA community, different social activists, but also looking at those who commit educational and career fraud. And one of the, like I said, I've already done Umar Abdullah Johnson, also known as Jermaine Shoemake, and now I'm doing Mr. Jermaine Morrison. And at first I thought, okay, is he a scammer really like Umar Johnson, or is he just a really bad businessman, or is he just misunderstood? And I've been hearing different things about him. Even me and Mad Church Disease, we had a disagreement about Jay Morrison. I kept telling him, like, I keep hearing these things, seeing these videos, looking at the SEC, Securities Exchange Commission's a report on him, and I'm just thinking he's not. I'm thinking he's a scammer. So we'll see if you guys come to the same conclusion. Hey, Gail. And so the first thing I want to show you guys, I'm going to share my screen. Make sure I share my audio with you guys. Okay. Um, I'm going to show you some things that are in not only in his. Let's see if we can make this small. Not only in his own words, but what other people think about him. And so let's go look at this. This is from 2008. Okay, this is from 2008. And this is a series that used to be on BET. You might see Dr. Sam, I think his name is Dr. Smith, and he was a dietitian, I think weight doctor, and he had kind of like a short talk show, and he featured Jay Morrison on it. So I want you guys to see Jay Morrison.
First, we start with the story of a young man. He walked away from life as a drug dealer to become a six-figure player in the real estate game. Check this out.
I've already pretty much lived the lifestyle that you hear in the songs. I've been at clubs with bottles of champagne. I've had the big cars, flashy jewelry, etc., etc. We sold drugs every day of our life. We woke up to our phones ringing to customers. We went to sleep to our phones ringing to customers. It was a full-time job selling drugs with a full-time job carrying a gun.
This is Jermaine Morrison. At 26, he's taken his hustle from the streets to become a successful real estate entrepreneur.
How we grew up, we were comfortable with the street lifestyle. Like, I grew up around stories of my stepfather robbing people and selling drugs, and my friends and I, like, we would walk through town, whether we playing basketball or just hanging out around town, and people would start asking us for drugs. Me and one of my boys back then, we had counted how much money that we actually could have made that day if we had drugs. My mom wasn't working on blue at the time. My stepfather was more or less supporting us off of practically $1,500 a month. So me seeing what I could have made $200-300 a day, it just kind of clicked. I kind of started out just making enough to kind of feed myself and give myself a little of the extras, and then it becomes addictive. You make bigger goals for yourself. Eventually, $1,000 a day became a reality. Then, I kind of got addicted to the money and addicted to the potential.
As his business grew, not even run-ins with the law stopped him.
I mean, there was a point in time where I was on parole in New York. I had an open charge in Jersey. I was on bail in Maryland, and I still was hustling. I still was selling drugs. And I wasn't scared. I was, quote-unquote, cool with it.
Through a stringent work release program, he was introduced to the mortgage and real estate game. But the street hustle proved to be too strong, and it took some time for Jermaine to make up his mind that he had enough.
I think as far as like real estate is concerned, I think it's kind of the same thinking, the same formula for me, which is kind of what got me out of selling drugs, is that I knew my same thinking and my same ambition could get me elsewhere and get me better without the consequences. This is my new construction, and I just got a contract on it for $533,000. I've seen twice as much money doing real estate as I've had selling drugs with none of the consequences. I don't know if it's the end all be all for me, but I'm grateful for having this stepping stone from where I came from to where I am now. And, I'm happy that I could be an example.
What we're looking at is...
Okay. Now, a couple of things that I would tell you about, some people still think he's still frauding us, is that there have been, this sounds like a really great rags to riches, American dream type story, bad background, moves his way up, learning mistakes, become this really great real estate person. But there are some inconsistencies in his story. Like, I do see some photos and it looked like he was in jail. Hey, Poetic Vibes. But there's some other YouTubers have pointed out that there are some inconsistencies in Jay Morrison's background, that maybe he might be embellishing his story a little bit. So this is from Max V Worldwide, who's actually was raised in the New Jersey area.
I'm getting ready to wig on this dude. Jermaine J. Morrison is the manager. 184, 270. I'm studying it in front of your eyes. It's ill and it's legal. Loaned out money to businesses that he owned with false. You know what I'm saying? James, ain't nobody scared over here.
He's been doing a series.
Let me explain to you what he did. He pulled the ill finesse move. You said Common Sense had the video earlier about the SEC report on Jay Morrison. Well, let me see a transcript. You need to exit out of here and go watch my latest video that I uploaded. Oh, yeah, I got the SEC report as well, and I chopped that fable.
And we're going to call.
Basically, they gave him a donation and a profit of the communicative stuff.
Sorry, I'm trying to get to the part where he basically
and I give it to him. Situation right now. I just kind of came in because I'm like, this dude is pulling a finesse move, and I got a lot of information from false prophets. I just want to let you guys know. Subscribe to False Prophets on YouTube and also Instagram. You can follow False Prophets on Instagram as well, and subscribe to Tone Talks, Yvette Carnell, and What Happened to Common Sense. These guys are putting in the work. I'm just coming in on the back end and giving my opinion. And the reason why I'm doing this, because the young people, I'm talking about people that.
Okay, and just to give you some backstory, I also went to Max V Worldwide. I also went to Tone Talks. I have a couple of videos from them. Yvette Carnell, Tone Talks. And actually, Yvette Carnell and Tone Talks was talking about Jay Morrison 2 years ago. And then False Prophet started talking about him a year ago. So there are people who've been investigating him, and they keep finding things about him. Hey, maybe it's free. And so I think this is the part where he starts talking about, because
that's younger than me,
his background.
You know what I'm saying? I'm in my 40s. I'm talking about people that's younger than me. You work hard for your money. We don't need nobody pulling no finesse moves on your money. Especially, we're in a very critical time right now. We're in a very critical time right now. We have 30 to 40 million people out of work right now. I'm from Jersey, and I'm going to tell you why I got on his ass. When he got on Vlad TV, and he said that he used to sell drugs and all that stuff in Broad and Market, and he mentioned, I'm not going to mention a block he mentioned in Newark, New Jersey. I got family that live on that block, and nobody knows who he is. Nobody knows. Nobody ever heard of him. That man lied. He lied. And if he think I'm not bullshitting, we can meet on Broad and Market. I'll just drive to Jersey. I want to see my mother anyway. I'll meet Jay, Mr. Real Estate there. And he got to prove to me that he sold drugs on that block. He got to prove it to me because I got family there. And I guarantee you, he's not safe to come on that block after midnight. That man lied. And that's when I got on his ass. That's when I started following, because I'm like, yo, this dude lied. See, he think most of the people that sold drugs back then, they're either dead or in jail. But guess what? Most of those people are coming home now, because, most of the people got 20 to 25 years on some trumped up charges that Clinton signed, that Biden helped out with. Those people are coming home now. The people that got 20 to 25 years, they coming home. Nobody has heard of Jay Morrison ever. He know the street I'm talking about. He named a specific street when he was on the Breakfast Club. And I did some research. I called some family members. Nobody know who he is. And that's when he was on my radar, because I knew he was pulling a finesse move somehow. Yeah, Jay, Mr. Real Estate, man. Yeah, I'm from Jersey. Yeah, I went to Essex Catholic. I'm from Jersey. I'm from East Orange. I grew up on 17th Street. I grew up on Fairmont Avenue and all of that. I used to hang out on West Kenny. Because if you know anything, Jay Morrison, about West Kenny, they used to have the fat dime bags back in the day. If you know anything about it. But nobody on that block know who you are, sir.
Okay. There's also another person, as he mentioned, false prophets, who's also doing some investigation about Mr. Jay Morrison. And so let's look at what he has to say. Let me see. There's a lot of things that this man is doing that just doesn't quite add up. Now, Max V Worldwide is showing that there's something wrong with, his story about being from the streets. And understand that sometimes people say things so that they can have this reputation of being, like, oh, this is where he got his ideas from, this is how he got his ideas from business savvy, dealing drugs before he became the businessman he is. Kind of like what they say about like Jay-Z. Yes, Lanice, I'm sorry if I'm not making it clear. Thank you for being here. Jay Morrison, who was supposed to be a real estate businessman, a very successful one, the last couple of years, but it's been moving up quicker and quicker the last few months, has been accused of basically frauding his investors in the Tulsa real estate fund and also mishandling investors' money, and also just lying about his background to make it appear that he's successful. He's really not. And so one of the things that Jay Morrison said was that, when I was younger, I was in the life, I sold drugs, and what I did in selling drugs, I applied that to real estate. And I learned I could make more money that way. He said he's been to jail. And so Max V Worldwide says, I grew up in New Jersey. I know where he was supposed to be selling drugs, and nobody knows who he is. Like, no one who's come out of jail, who's probably selling drugs back in the day, none of them are know who he is. So there's something in his background. There's some misconceptions about his background that he's doing in. And so this is another video, which I think is a little bit more firsthand experience. These are actually guys in that neighborhood that Jay Morrison tells them, oh yeah, I used to sell drugs here. And they're questioning him about it. They're questioning him about it. And it just doesn't seem to add up. So let me share my screen. And this is him this is on False Prophets website.
What's up, YMC Wednesdays? It's Jay Morrison, Young Millionaires Club. And today I bring you to my old block in Newark, New Jersey, Springfield Ave and 10th Street. I'm on Springfield Avenue. This is my old block I used to hustle at. Weird. Right there. Springfield and 10th, Strauss Auto.
That's up there.
It's right here.
That's not Strauss.
I said Strauss Auto.
Strauss Auto. You used to hustle right there?
Yeah.
When?
07, 08.
I'm trying to figure out where you were. Like, I might never saw you.
Because I wasn't out here hand in hand. That wasn't my thing.
I'm trying to figure out where you were. Like, I might never saw you. Where you were. Like, I never saw you.
Because I wasn't out here hand in hand. That wasn't my thing.
Okay, Jay Morrison starts bragging about the block he used to hustle on. But when he gets confronted by goons, now he says he wasn't the person out there selling. He was the boss. But if you were the boss, they really should know who you are. Just another scam by Jay Morrison.
Many of our communities.
What's up, YMC?
Okay. So, as you can see, hey, Daryl, thanks for coming. like, okay, so like Max B said, like, nobody who's coming back from jail in the neighborhood where I grew up know who you are. And then these are guys who are still in the neighborhood. And he's like, yeah, I used to sell on the block. And they're like telling him, no, you're not in the right spot. You're not in the right place. And then he said, oh, I was here 0708. But if you look at the first video I showed you, that was from BT in 2008. So you telling me you were selling drugs as early as 2008, and then you were featured on BT saying that you turned your life around? Does that make any sense to you? I lived near that block when I was living in New York. He's like, see, third person. He gonna make me look up his arrest record. Jermaine Morrison. Okay. But you all probably know, if in the news you've heard his name, about the Tulsa Real Estate Fund. And so for some people, historically, if you don't know what happened in Tulsa in 1921, it was like the Black Wall Street, a very vibrant, Black, almost middle class, business class area. And basically the white people were upset at the Black people being prosperous, even though they were segregating them from their society. Basically, they all got together and literally burnt this section of town down. Well, Jay Morrison says, hey, I'm going to do this Tulsa Real Estate Fund, and I'm going to help with the funds rebuild Greenwood area, Black Wall Street. So it sounds like a really great, upstanding guy. He's for, Black economics. He's pro-Black. He works about our community. And so I just wanted to give you, like I said, in his own words, because he actually has his own website. This is actually from his website. And he gives it to me in the introduction about, this is actually from his website. I'm sorry, not website. His YouTube channel called Tulsa Real Estate Fund. And you can hear it for yourself. Let me go here.
Many of our communities have experienced a type of economic erosion where many properties are left desolate, unsafe, or even vacant for extended periods of time, mainly due to practices such as redlining, mortgage discrimination, blockbusting, deindustrialization, and economic disinvestment from the public and private sector. In addition, studies show that vacant properties in a neighborhood are correlated to increased violence and criminal activity. The most common method of economic revitalization that occurs in most of these communities is called gentrification. This is where members of a more affluent community pool public and private resources in order to make investments into poorer areas, forcing some of the most economically vulnerable members to move away.
That's what happened.
In the end, the community loses its identity, culture, and history, while the problems of poverty, lack of economic resources, or quality education still exist for the displaced. Tulsa Real Estate Fund is an SEC-registered Regulation A+ Tier 2 economic vehicle for urban communities to collectively pool their dollars and gain control over the revitalization of their own neighborhoods. Due to a new SEC regulation, for the first time, members of the community can invest as low as $500 into a real estate crowd fund and become part owners of all types of real estate investments, such as hotels, apartment buildings, schools, hospitals, and even large blocks of single or multifamily homes. Here's how it works. Tulsa Real Estate Fund will collect capital from a pool of socially conscious investors, then search for quality real estate investment opportunities in economically depressed neighborhoods, purchasing properties to be fixed up and either sold or held onto for rental income. As the properties make payments and or increase in value, the fund participants as co-owners of the portfolio of investments will receive an 8% preferred return and a 50-50 split of the remaining profits with the fund managers. In addition to receiving the return on their capital, the Tulsa Fund real estate investor will have had the opportunity to create jobs in their community, participate in neighborhood improvements, positively impact local public spending, all the while creating a new legacy of ownership and financial investment. We welcome you to explore this innovative 21st century economic solution.
Okay. So now what you need to understand is like that video to me, like, wow. And it captured a lot of people's attention because they're like, oh, okay, he's going to help stop gentrification in this area, help pick up the community. Black people or any other, working class people can invest, and then they'll get an 8% return. And then if there's any profits, they'll split it 50-50 with the fund manager. And it sounds good. But I remember there's another YouTuber named of Common Sense. Whatever happened to Common Sense? He does a lot of economic videos. And he made a comment about this. He said, if you do an 8% return, what is 500 times 0.08? That's 8%. That's $40. You're getting a $40 return on $500. Is that really a lot of money? Is that something really to jump up and down about? And also, it sounds like a 50-50 split with the fund manager. It sounds a good idea. But what ends up happening is there's a lot of criticism about Jay Morrison that he is giving himself and others salaries from the Tulsa Real Estate Fund. And then going to, like, he purchases things in the, Tulsa area and other states too, community, but he is really not making a profit so that people can get their 8% back or to get that 50-50 split. And there's only one thing that really literally got built in this time period was the Legacy Center where he has his offices. So let me show you. Yeah, it's a Ponzi scheme. He's basically doing a version of Bernie Madoff. And the thing is, some people, because this sounds good, are not looking at the writing, and that in the fine writing it says, hey, you might not get an 8% return because of economic conditions like downturn in the economy. But however, there are other people who gave way more than $500, to Jay Morrison. So I want you to hear what whatever happens to Comic Sense. His name was Eli. He's a very good channel that deals with economics. And he makes a really good point about what he calls Jay Morrison's logic. And also I'll let you hear
Jay Morrison is now trying to deflect and change the narrative with these new videos that he's been posting. I never mentioned anything about a bankruptcy. I never spoke about a complaint from the SEC. I never touched on the memo from the NFL's Player Association. I didn't mention any bad marijuana deals that went bad with you and any investors, allegedly. I didn't speak about how you've been promoting the Tulsa Real Estate Fund with that mansion and who it belonged to, which is why I focus solely on what you were saying about reparations and you lacking education and you being a 3-time felon, because what you were saying sounded like jailhouse scholarship. That's why I referenced those things. I don't want a jailhouse scholar talking for me. The last thing you should be trying to do is trying to sound like a scholar about something that you don't even have surface level understanding about. If you don't know the difference between an ethnicity, a religious group, and a nationality, then it's clear you have not went out here and really did the work. And you may be lacking in basic civics because you're a high school dropout, because you've been in and out of prison. Stay out of the intellectual conversations. Stick to the swaggy conversation.
There's a lot of hype about.
Okay. So you heard what Eli, who's also known as Weber for Common Sense, he has a degree. He studies economics. He has his own tech academy. And for a while there, he was defending Jay Morrison because this other YouTuber by the name of Young Pharaoh said that Jay Morrison was supposed to purchase something for $2 million. I think the Legacy Center where he has his office for $2 million. But I think it was worth actually 3.2. And so he thought like, oh, you pocketed $1.2 million pocket the rest of the money. But what Eli said was that there's a difference between what you buy and what something is worth. So young Fair really didn't know what he was talking about. However, if you look at the Tulsa Real Estate Fund, why are you purchasing a building for $2 million when you said you were going to purchase, rundown homes and businesses and redo them and then sell them to other people, presumably Black people in the community, and that didn't happen. Yeah, I think in the first video he said, "Oh, I was in Maryland." Then he said something. Then I heard something like, I don't know if I misheard Atlanta and New Jersey. But like Daryl said, in Newark, where he used to be, that guy's lying. Then Max V said, yeah, he's lying too, because nobody over here where I'm from knows him. And then you have the guys in the video who still live in the community. And he's like, where did you sell drugs? And he was like, oh, when was the last time you were here? He said, 0708. How are you back here in 0708 when BET is doing your video about you transforming your life in 2008? That don't make any sense at all whatsoever. Okay. So I want you to show you, this is from False Prophets, very good website. And he explains how the Tulsa real estate scam is actually a Tulsa real estate fund is actually a scam.
This Tulsa real estate fund, then not only will investors be able to make money, but they'll be helping the Black community. This story sounds very familiar.
Ephraim Taylor, the son of a pastor who told parishioners at some of America's most prominent megachurches that he could make them rich and please God in the process. They believed, and they gave him millions. He promised believers he could make them rich.
He sounded like a godly person to you.
He's quoted scriptures.
They gave him millions. So where'd all the money go?
It was all part of what he called his wealth tour. Sermons about self-improvement and financial pitches.
And this is another
Security officials
scammer.
now say these families were victims of a Ponzi scheme in Atlanta. She says Taylor sold her on his socially conscious investment that she'd be giving back to her community. She told us he gave her these papers. He claimed they showed he invested her money in a real estate venture that turned around homes in inner cities. But then she says he disappeared.
This is your retirement.
Yes.
And it's gone.
Bad, isn't it?
Tulsa Real Estate Fund.
So June 1st, whoever invests their $500, $1,000, $10,000, or $50,000 or more in the Tulsa Real Estate Fund, you will become an honorary founder of the Tulsa Real Estate Fund, set to stop gentrification of our communities, set to buy back our blocks, and rebuild Black Wall Street type communities.
When I invested, I wasn't familiar with the bankruptcy and the pending lawsuit or the lawsuit that he had in the current bankruptcy. I was wondering if you could speak to why that wasn't included, because had I known about that, I probably wouldn't have invested.
If you would not have invested had you known that information, then I absolutely encourage you to ask for your money back.
You should be ashamed of yourself. You sound silly and foolish.
We've always been treated so poorly by Americans. But somehow this education.
Okay, so we'll stop there. So as you can see, it's like, I don't know if you noticed also that he said something very, very similar in that video. Somebody talked about asking for their money back, and then he says, you should be ashamed of yourself, you're foolish, or they call me, I'm foolish and ashamed. And I'm just like, doesn't Omar Johnson say stuff like that too? Like when you question him about what he's doing and you get this backlash from them. And so right now, the only thing that he's, like I said, literally he's bought a building called the Legacy Center. He has not bought up and helped to revitalize Tulsa or the Greenwood community where Black Wall Street was located. Okay. And on top of that, he, think about it, it's in a way crowdfunding, even though they're saying, they're allowed to do this by the SEC, the Securities and Exchange Commission. But it's kind of like what Common Sense said. He might not be doing anything illegal, but it seems unethical. You know, it's just like he's teetering on the line. Okay. The next thing I'm going to show you is Yvette Carnell. And Yvette Carnell brings up a very good point. She feels that she said this 2 years ago about Jay Morrison, that he is bringing up this new idea that has happened in the Black community. She feels like that Black people, because we are, a history of slavery, segregation, Jim Crow, and the fact that our middle class is not as big as other ethnic groups, that we are much more vulnerable to being scammed by other people. So we have the I think he said the Bitcoin, we have the Herbalife, we have these Ponzi schemes, and then she lumps Jay Morrison in with that. But there was one thing that I felt like she pointed out about Jay Morrison that I think I really had a big problem with. Okay. So I'll show you what she says, because it was like, I couldn't believe he asked people to help him with this, because I felt like it was very, very personable. And this is not something that you ask regular people to do.
Yvette, you don't know.
Okay. She also bring another thing is that people kept saying, "Oh, look at Jay Morrison. He's being featured. He's being featured in this business magazine." And she pointed out that in the magazine that he was in, it actually was an advertisement. It was actually, he bought space to put that there. So it wasn't like the magazine was saying, "Hey, look at him."
We have a lot of losses in this area. We have taken a lot of L's from people who have promised us we were going to be business owners, we were going to make money, we were going to rebuild, we were going to take part in American capitalism, that for the first time things were going to happen that had not happened before. And, what I want to say is that we have to be diligent. You have to understand one thing. Being diligent is not the same thing as being a hater. Yeah. You are supposed to see the thing is with Jay Morrison, there's not even when you see these Fortune 500 companies, right? And there's a strong board. You remember Steve Jobs got ousted from his own company initially because there was a board that had the power to do so. I haven't seen a board that has the power to do that with Jay Morrison to get rid of him. What I have seen is a key man clause. Now I want you to go and watch the Jay Morrison video, which was a response to Antonio's video. Right? Go and watch it. And he just says, he kind of skates over this thing, which infuriated me. He said, well, this key man clause, this key clause just basically says that I'm the man and I'm important to this. No, that's not what it says. That clause says that if you skate and you run away, that this fund doesn't really owe anybody anything. That's what that clause says. And then you have this thing saying my first IPO. It's not an IPO because you're not on the market. So I can't decide that I don't want this anymore and sell it and say, I don't want this no more. I'm done. I don't have faith in this. I ain't got nowhere to put it. I'm stuck. I am.
Okay. Do you guys understand what she's saying? Because he's calling it the Tulsa Real Estate Fund, and the way it is worded in the I guess when they sign on the dotted line, it's saying that, hey, because with normal stocks, when you do normal investment, you put your money in, and the manager or the what do you call it, the stockbroker puts your money in places to make you more money. But you can go and tell their stockbroker or fund manager, like, hey, I don't want my money going here anymore. Put it somewhere else, or I just want all my money back. I guess I think it's like so many days or what. I'm not quite sure. I need to ask some questions. And I could get my money back. Usually, because of consumer laws, there's so many days you can get your money back. Basically, what she's saying is, in the fine print that Jay Morrison put for this Tulsa real estate fund, you can't get your $500 or if it's something else back. You can't tell him to put it somewhere else. Basically, he can do with it whatever he wants to do, even though he says this is going to sell these businesses. Because he can just tell you, like, hey, oh, we just didn't have a good return this season. You can't get your money back. You can't get your refund. Hey, Mad Church, are you here? Are you here on twice? Two people? No problem. We know you're a busy man. And I might need you to come on so you can talk about, Mr. Jay Morrison. But let's keep hearing what she's saying.
Stuck. Listen, black people, we stuck right now. Like, understand that this is not an IPO. See, what it feels like to me, what it looks like is that what you're doing is using this stock market language, because normal IPO makes sure you have to have a certain amount in hand, right? You have to be, what is it, like 250,000 or something like that to be involved in these risky investments. So he wants to make you feel like you're involved in an IPO, and he's taking advantage of the fact that too many of us don't know what a real IPO looks like. So my first IPO is not an IPO. It's not an IPO. And you got this Montel Williams picture on here, and you trying to look like a celebrity. How many IPOs have you ever seen which hinge on like the persona or the personality that is being marketed? Please tell me how many. I want to know. I've never seen it. It's usually about the product. It's usually about the fundamentals, the potential of the earnings potential, the market. What does that market look like? How much do you have on hand? How much property have you bought? And what have you done with it? Because judging from your paperwork, you don't have any money. You're using the money, and you can go look up this paperwork. He got bankruptcy paperwork.
Ooh.
Antonio, I'm not gonna go too deep into it because I know Antonio's gonna deal with some of this on Friday. He got bankruptcy paperwork and a lot of other paperwork that says that like he ain't got no money.
Lenise.
Right? So if you ain't got no money, I'm trying to understand how you make a video and say, if you're not my equal, you don't get to criticize me. Bruh, everybody your equal. If you worth like 30,000, all black people is your equal. Then you say, if you've never filed an SEC report, you don't get to say nothing about me. If you never filed, you filed one SEC.
In 2019.
One.
And then
you don't
this
get
year.
to file one and say, don't talk to me. You don't get to do that. What sense does any of this make? Then you say, well, you don't get to criticize me, And the thing is, you haven't been successful yet. I have seen no fruits of your success.
Thank you. Maybe
you
it's right.
keep saying, I've done this, but like, why didn't you, as people keep saying, well, Jay Morrison's a millionaire. If you're a millionaire, why didn't you put $1 million down? Why didn't you put in the first 500? If you're a millionaire, I don't see any indication that this person, this Jay Morrison character, is a millionaire. I just don't see it. I'm willing to see it. He has lived a life of failure. No. Yvette, don't say that. Yvette, are you being black respectability, talking about him being in jail? No, I'm not saying, listen, I support us changing mass incarceration. If you tell me you just got out of jail, I will support, and I think the government should support because of what the government has done to black men by putting them all in cage. I think, and putting us black women too, but not at the level of black men. Nowhere near that. But I think the government should support stuff that allows us to be reintegrated into society. I support you becoming gainfully employed. I support all of that. I support you finding a job. I support you being able to feed your family, your kid, and everything like that. I support all of that. I will support you.
Okay, I want to move up to the part where she starts criticizing him for basically
and I just want to say, I had somebody who told me they were an investor, and they said, Yvette, you just don't understand investing. You just really don't understand, because once an actual investment company, once CNBC and these people get behind you, Yvette, you don't understand. Once these people get behind you, you're the real deal. There's no way he could be in a position to cheat Black people ever if these people are getting behind him. You don't know what you're talking about, Yvette. That's what somebody told me. I swear, I would not lie to you. Somebody told me that. Somebody told me that when they saw this article. The only thing about this article is that you have to pay attention. Black people, I really need everybody to pay attention. And let me blow this up a little bit bigger for you. I just want to bring attention to one thing. Do you see right here where it says PR Newswire? Do you see where it says PR Newswire? That means, understand that this isn't a CNBC article. This is just a press release. This was up at his page, that this was a CNBC article about him. Understand that there is no byline. That means this is not an article about Jay Morrison. This is a PR Newswire article, or it's a news release. It was written by Jay Morrison, but instead of telling you that, he tells you, you see, he put something up on his Facebook page like, yeah, we coming.
Okay. Don Panero, I don't know if you came in late. He's still under investigation. They just came out with the SEC report, and I think in the SEC report, they basically said there's nothing in there to arrest him or make charges on, but there are some questionable things in there that is going to give him problems that he needs to address. And so we'll get into that. But like she said, Jay Morrison say, "Oh, look, we're in the and I see in the CNBC is it's kind of like the economic channel for everything that's dealing with money." And so they have a newspaper or a magazine, and he tells them, yeah, she said Montel Williams' picture, that he's in this mag. So he can go to his investor and say, look, I'm in CBC. Look, this is an official magazine. But like she said, no one wrote this article. He sent them this article, a press release. Someone at his company wrote it, and they put it in the CNBC. And now what he can do is now he can show this to other people to legitimize what is going on with him. You know what I'm saying? Are y'all understanding that part? And so let's get to this next part, because I really want you to this next part.
Oh man, I'm historic about this. Investing as a partner in historic movement by investing as little as $500 towards 50 million. Blah 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 blah. If you're understand that in and of itself is a scam. Please understand that in and of itself is a scam. Here's a list of I just went to CNBC press releases. Here's a list of this morning press releases I found. It don't mean nothing, man. These are just press releases, man. This is not.
Hold on, I'm trying to get.
But this is all stuff you can. You know your registry, and we can pay. Keep trying to monetize everything. You try to monetize everything. Why are you monetizing your wedding and honeymoon and all this stuff? We don't owe you that. Why would you even put that up? You go wherever you go. You can go to the Justice of the Peace Wall, here. You go to the courthouse. Don't nobody owe you to be in Fiji. And you put that up you finna, and you know your registry, and we can pay for all this stuff for you. You saw the data on how much we have, and how we all fall mostly in that $37,000 range. You saw that.
Hold on, wait a minute.
Why in the world would I?
Okay, so I don't know if y'all can see the screen. He wants them to. She makes a good point. Why are we having to fund your wedding and your a wedding and your excursion on your honeymoon? You supposed to be a millionaire, right? He wants to pay the excursions, the beverages. This thing is starting to look like Dr. Dre's wife, what she said she needs to have every month. Like, why do we need to? Why do we need to do this? This don't make no sense.
I do some stupid stuff like this. I would never pay for Ernestine and Jay to go nowhere.
Ernestine is his wife.
Why would I? Why do you have this up? What are you doing? What are y'all doing? Now, this sounds like, listen, this sounds so
airline miles,
so
accommodations,
like
tours.
y'all are business people, but y'all are getting money from. But people tell me Jay's a millionaire, but he getting all this money to go do this stuff from. He crowdfunding his wedding, and it ain't just, listen. Let me see if I can find this piece, because it ain't just this that he crowdfunding. I don't even understand what's going on with the world no more. I hope ain't nobody buying this stuff. Don't nobody owe nobody this. Don't nobody owe you a wedding or a family or nothing.
Let's say shopping. So I'm gonna give you shopping money.
I don't know what's going on. I really don't. And then, like, okay, here it is. This is what I want to show everybody.
Honeyfund.com.
He crowdfunded
like
his
GoFundMe.com.
You can pay $50 to see his wedding.
What?
Like, who are you? You ain't nobody. Like, why would I pay?
No,
they said, well, some people weren't able to. A lot of people weren't able to get.
Dee, it's not a GoFundMe. It's a honeyfund.com. It's similar to GoFundMe, but it's like honeyfund.com. So they can fund your honeymoon. And then right here, you know how some people have a destination wedding, and so they go up to Hawaii or whatever else, and then people at home can just watch it on like Facebook Live, Instagram Live, or YouTube Live. Well, he's telling people if you want to view it at home, it's gonna cost you $50.
To get to our wedding, so we were going to stream this for families. But when I put in my dummy stuff and dummy account, it took me to $50. $50 to watch you Negroes get married. Oh my God. I don't know what's going on with the world no more. These Negroes think we're going to pay $50 to watch them get married. And let me just be honest, why wouldn't you? Like, I meant to bring it. I have a little gadget that's about this high, and I might bring it back after the break. But I have a little gadget that's about this high. And you can put that little gadget anywhere.
That's true.
And I got it because I was trying to figure out a way to do shows while I'm out of town. And you can put that little gadget anywhere, and it will live cast to YouTube. Now, the problem with me is that I want to put up charts and stuff, so it's still hard for me because I can't put that stuff up.
Okay. I like her. She's another person who's been investigating. Her name is Yvette Carnell. I don't always agree with Yvette Carnell because Yvette Carnell is in a way part of the Black conscious community, but she's more or less like the Black intellectual part of the conscious community. And she does criticize people like, I can hear Jay Morrison, Umar Johnson, Boyce Watkins, and Tariq Nasheed. And she's particularly right about them because they use the movement, they use the conscious community to further their own pockets, not actually help Black people. Her and Tony, who was the other investigator of Jay Morrison, they are also the founders of ADOS, the ADOS movement, American Descendants of Slaves. So most of the time okay. All right. Okay. Dee said, okay, pay for my vacation. But yeah, I don't always agree with everything, but in this particular instance, I do. But her name is Yvette Carnell, Carnell. Okay. And like I said, her and Tony Talks 2 years ago said it was something going on with Jay Morrison that didn't sound right. And then False Prophets and got on to him a year ago, and then whatever happened to Common Sense, I think about 10 months ago, you know, and then me, like Max Worldwide and me, we've been like looking at their videos this whole time because it's been, yeah. So I want to show you something else from her or from the group. But she makes a good point. Like, why do we have to look at what you have? Why do we have to help fund your wedding? But then I'm gonna give you this next video, which ironically is from a person that Yvette Carnell criticizes, that I also criticize as well too. That other people in the Black conscious community, some love him, the others hate him. He does have the Hidden Colors African American History documentary series, which I've been told is very, very good. And that's also how a lot more people knew about Umar Johnson, because he's in, I think, DVD 1, 2, and 3, but I think there's a total of 5. I think April Ross, she's seen him. She said that's good. I just have some issues with Tariq Nasheed because he worked with Umar Johnson and he knew that he was a scammer, and he didn't tell us to later on. So, but I want you to hear from another person that some people say is a scammer, who's basically saying that, hey, Jay Morrison is a scammer. And so, and I'm thinking, like, usually game recognized game. Hey, Miss NW50. Okay, let me.
No, a bell can't be unrung, man. My man is trying to interject himself into this thing. Jay, we see you, Jay. We see you, brother.
Hold a fucking vote. Let's call it a day. Let's unify in real life. Watch me pull it off. Watch. You heard it right here tonight, Money Church Monday. Watch me lead the revolution in real life. Like I always call this shit, I always go do this shit. Watch me actually organize the shit and pull it off, and you're going to watch all the major influencers in one room, like, yo, what the fuck, Jay?
Guys, watch me lead the revolution. This is about Jay. This is about you. Watch me do it. Jay Morrison. That's what it's about, man. This dude is trying to swivel the shit so it could be about him being a leader. So he can be the leader of this new bullshit. I don't know what he's talking about. Pan-African movement that he's going to be the leader of, that he's going to monetize some way. So, God damn, Jay.
On September, whatever fucking date it is right now.
Hey, Marjorie, thanks.
This motherfucking young Malcolm, Hope Man, really went to pull that shit off in real life. Bro, I get busy.
Hey, Super
Chat.
Talk,
man. It ain't Jay talks, man. It's Jay does. I do the work.
You do the work.
Every trip, I get shit done.
People, what people do, they start talking all this. Well, you got to do this, and you got to get the paperwork, and then you got to get you got to become a sovereign nation, and then you got to be recognized by another sovereign nation. That's, you know what that ultimately is? Buy my sovereignty kit for $99.95.
And this video really aligns with The Solution, which is my new book, How Africans in America Achieve Unity, Justice, and Repair.
Did he call it $14.99? Africans, what's it called? Africans in America. What's it called? Economic repair. The Solution: How Africans in America Achieve Unity, Justice, and Repair for $14.99. Is that all it's going to take? $14.99. Oh, by the way, he not only has the Tulsa Real Estate Fund, he has the Jay Morrison Academy that's supposed to be teaching people about real estate. He's also supposed to have, like I said, the Legacy Center. He's doing the stuff for the honeymoon. Then he got these books. And he has one more thing. This is why I think I have issues with him as a like something's really wrong, Mr. Morrison. This is from next video. Oh, you remember how Umar Johnson would say stuff like, "Hey, Cheryl Wilson." He would say something like, "Oh, I got a really big donation from an anonymous donor, and they gave this money to me, and this is for, for us, for the organization." Or, "Oh, I almost had this basketball player who's about to give us some money, but we don't know who the black person is. Black basketball player is. So we never go." So, but guess what? Jay Morrison goes a step further. Super chat. The way this man is working, Umar Johnson could be his cousin or his brother. And by the way, ironically, both of them were born with the name Jermaine. Okay. Yeah. So I want you to see how he lies about a donation. Remember, he's all about saying, "Oh, I'm a millionaire, I have all this money," but you crowdfunding your honeymoon. You know what I'm saying? It just doesn't make right. So I want you to see what happens. False prophets found out about him.
Okay, for those of you who are still wondering if that $1 million check from Young Jeezy to Jay Morrison was fake, here's the proof. You can go to the IRS website and find every tax return filed by Street Dreams Foundation. I reviewed every single tax return ever filed by Street Dreams Foundation. Young Jeezy's foundation never donated $1 million to Jay Morrison. They didn't donate $100,000. They didn't donate $10,000. They didn't donate $100. They didn't even donate $1 to Jay Morrison Academy. It's easy to find out. You can check for yourself. Go to the IRS website. Here's the foundation's name and EIN number, and you can see all the records.
And he did a publicity stunt. His enrollment skyrocketed.
Okay, I'm gonna interject something real quick. Is there more and Roxanne and Matt Charles-Disease in the chat? Are y'all still here in the chat? Are y'all in it? Where'd they go? To sleep? It's only 8:11 p.m. now. I don't be leaving y'all chat. Yeah, I went there. Where y'all go? Is it a delay? Maybe they're doing some big working on that paperwork. Hold on. Okay. Oh, hey, Mass Disease. Okay. I wanted you to pay attention to remind me about this next part, because I think we might need to do this for a certain other. Oh, I'm sorry. Say hey. Okay, I understand. Say hey to Mama Moore for me. Hey, Roxanne. Okay, there's a delay. My bad. Sorry, friends. And I don't see you. I get anxious. Okay. So I'm gonna move it back a little bit.
Find out. You can check for yourself. Go to the IRS website. Here's the foundation's name and EIN number, and you can see all the records.
And he did a publicity stunt. His enrollment skyrocketed off of.
Okay. What I was trying to say is that we need to do that for a certain other person, get their EIN number and see what they have done, what kind of donations or things or charitable things they have given to other organizations. Because didn't they say, "Oh, I gave some money to help someone or someplace"? So remind me later on. We need to look that up about that person, charitable donations to another organization. This is what reminded me. You know what I'm talking about? Okay. Remind me. I'll explain it more later. Okay. Let me go back.
That fake donation. Yes, $1 million check was fake. That was super fake.
Yes, $1 million check was fake. That was super fake.
So it's a whole lot of flexing going on. It's like, hey, let me put out these big.
Okay. All right. So basically, okay. Yes, sir. Yes, public information. Public information. Yes, thank you for the reminder, sir. Thank you so much. But it's like, wow, you just did a Umar Johnson move. You pretended that you got a donation from a rapper, and then in this case, false prophets. It is PROFITS, false prophets, channel. He looked it up and it was like, you didn't receive no money from that organization, but he has a big old check and he's showing everybody. It's just like, why? Why do you? But like I said, it's to gain legitimacy. Like, hey, this famous person gave us some money, and this is great, and you should too. You know. So, thank you. Please make sure you hit the like button. Please make sure, if you can, like, share, subscribe, bring your friends over next time. And if you can, please donate. I'm sounding like Jay Morrison, I'm sorry. But I actually will tell you what the money actually goes to. For technology upgrades, I still need to get a green screen, a microphone, and a camera. New camera. You say you got a book for $14.99. That's gonna tell you how to get all the money to help repair Black America, right? Right. Okay, so this next person that I'm gonna show you actually was working with Jay Morrison and the Jay Morrison Academy to put on a real estate kind of like conference or workshop. And unfortunately, his name is Tony the Closer. He's another real estate guy. And he had heard about Jay Morrison. He talked to Jay Morrison, and Jay Morrison was like, hey, can I come on with you and help put on this conference? And they were going to give away $100,000 at this event. Yeah, someone probably else wrote the book. He had a ghostwriter. Remember, he dropped out of 10th grade. That don't mean you're dumb. That means you might just need some help with the editing part. And this man, his name's Tony Closer, talks about how Jay Morrison just really stiffed him out of $50,000 because they both were supposed to contribute the $50,000. And I just want y'all to listen to, and then I also have another, if we have time, I also have another clip where people who worked for Jay Morrison said that, they're supposed to get paid for their job, and they are not getting paid for their job at all. Exactly. Because with the Jay Morrison Academy, I saw. I'm supposed to show that too. Maybe it's another video I can show that. The Better Business Bureau was had a lot of complaints from Jay Morrison because he was selling, like I said, the books, the DVDs, supposed to help people get money, get rich. And so when the people were like, "Oh, I never got my item," but they got charged, they weren't happy with this. They were like, "Oh, let me get my refund," and it took them weeks to get their refund. And so it wasn't until they actually went onto the Better Business Bureau website, lodged a complaint, and all of a sudden they got their refund right away. So, yeah, and it's not even mentioning the Well, I don't want to say he can't read. I mean, there are very smart, intelligent. I mean, I've met students I've had with geniuses in 10th, 11th grade. This didn't like school. And that could have been him, you know? But like Common Sense said, you coming up here with this, you say you was a drug dealer, but not really a drug dealer. You dropped out in the 10th grade. You were in and out of school. You stopped going. Now you're doing real estate investment and you wrote a book. Okay. I want to give you the benefit of the doubt, but I don't know. Damn, life is like you've been dropping a lot of F-bombs today. Are you drinking liquor? Is it brown? It's brown, isn't it? Okay, so I want you to hear what Tony the Closer had to say. And the thing is about Tony the Closer was like, you had red flags that I think you could have stopped it, but you kept listening to Jay Morrison talk, and he was putting forth this image. So you thought like, nah, he can't be like what I think he is, and he actually is that. That's true, Mad Church Disease. That's true. It's other people's fault. It's not their fault. It's other people's fault. You know. So let's go see, share the screen, audio. Okay, so this is Tony the Closer. We got to go back.
Basically, Jay had his assistant reach out to me. Got the best damn
They
land.
wanted $50,000 land props, right?
100K giveaway. Like, you know, like I'm kind of like, you know, thinking like, thought was their house. Like I went there and I was under the thing that I reach out to him to speak. I always find myself guilty is when I started reaching out to people, I didn't do much background research, right? So I was looking at Instagram and I was going through and seeing who had big followings and reaching out to them saying, hey, would you like to be a part of a black real estate event? And that came to my detriment with this situation here. So I picked out.
Okay, so let's just back up a little bit. So the man on the left in the blue hat, that is Tone Talks. He's also the co-founder of ADOS. And he and Yvette Carnell 2 years ago said something is wrong with Jay Morrison. I think he's scamming people. And this is Tone Talks. By the way, Tone Talks is also an attorney. And he is talking to the man on the right who's called Tony the Closer. He's another real estate person. So Tony Talks, Tony the Closer said, hey, he was having this real estate event. And so he was trying to find other Black real estate people with big followings to come be a part of this event. And unfortunately, like he said, he did not do a much thorough background check and ended up getting Jay Morrison. Okay. You're right. You're right, Mad Church Disease. You're absolutely right.
About 20 entrepreneurs. And Jay Morrison was one of the guys that I had brought in as a keynote speaker. Well, the kind of what happens is I bring Jay as one of my keynotes to the event to speak. As the year, and this is now like in early March or April of last year, 2019, that I reach out to him to speak. Well, as the year started progressing and people started hearing the buzz of the event itself, Jay reached out to me and he was like, hey man, I'm hearing some great things about your event. And you know, I'm known for adding fuel to the fire. Basically, I can help your current event where it's going right now, take it to another level. So he's like, let's partner together and I can bring in T.I., B. Simone, DC Young Fly. He's like, I go to church with Pastor Jamal Bryant. So he started name dropping and saying all these like large, influencers or celebrities that he believed he would be able to bring to the actual event. So for me, I was like, okay, this is an opportunity to take my event that's going to be a, probably 1,000-person event to turn it now into maybe a potential 5,000+ person event. So I was like, heck yeah, man, I'm interested. Let's do it. So I fly to Atlanta, and we kind of like have a photo shoot at the mansion, right? The house that I thought was their house. Like I went there and I was under the impression that this house that that mansion that you saw all the Tulsa Real Estate Fund marketing campaigns on.
You talking about the one that was standing outside looking like Benson, looking like you talking about that one with the suits and everything?
So I go to the house to meet them to take pictures, and when we go there, they were like, hey, basically you couldn't use the bathrooms, and it was like everybody was basically standing outside. So it was more like it was like a rental or whatever. Like it was kind of like, I'm like, damn, like where are we supposed to go piss at, man? Like there's no, like you literally.
Wait, they rented the outside of the house?
We stood outside the house. Like the only place we walked into was like the main door in that front area, like nowhere beyond that. So I'm going to this place and they send me the address and I'm thinking I'm going to their house, right? They're like, hey, here's the address, like, all right, so I'm pulling up. I'm like, God damn, I'm like, they shit big as hell. Like, like I'm kind of like,
Wait a minute. Did man church disease? Didn't we know somebody else who gave somebody an address to come by and it wasn't their real house? I remember. Okay. I'm just saying. I remember going over. Okay.
Thinking like this is their crib, and then when I get there, like it's like,
oh my God,
it's a little different. So we end up shooting, the promo for the partnership, and us both doing $100,000 giveaway, which would be he
the
was
first
giving away 50,000, and I would be giving out 50,000 at the event. So Jay came to me with an idea. He was like, "Hey man, we're gonna bring in all these different people, and let's add some spice to it. Let's do a 100K giveaway."
Okay, I'm sorry. Like Mad Church said, yeah. First red flag, we come to your house, it ain't your house, and I can't pee. And everyone knows, all my friends know about my bladder. That is not gonna work, okay? Then on top of that, the man that I invite to the event tells me, hey, why don't we partner together and move it from 50K to 100,000K? And you ain't doing no background check on you? Tony, the closer. Jay Morrison must be a smooth talker.
And when we do this 100K giveaway, you'll give away 50,000. I'll give away 50,000, and we'll take the money from the ticket sales and all that to, obviously, do that. Essentially, like he had pitched an idea of creating a $2 million event. We were going to split $2 million, and that was going to be, how this thing would go off. Well, that day after we did the actual promo shoot, Jay was like, "Hey man, let's go out and get some dinner." So we go to Cheetah's, the
third
strip club
flag
in Atlanta. So I got a couple buddies that live in Atlanta. We met up. So I had about 3 of my guys with me, and then Jay had Isaac Grace, one of the other Jay Morrison Academy guys, and then probably like 2 or 3 Tulsa Real Estate Fund guys with him as well. So we're sitting at Cheetah's and we're eating these lamb chops, and I ain't gonna lie, like the lamb chops was bomb. Like if y'all go to Atlanta, like Cheetah's got the best damn lamb
they
chops.
They were $50,000 lamb chops, right?
They're 100K lamb chops.
All right.
So basically we're eating and I end up not being able to find my actual debit card. So I get up and I'm like walking back to the car and I'm like looking all over the place with my debit card. I can't find it anywhere.
I'm sorry.
So I walk back into the actual restaurant. To the club. Jay was gone. Like he just left.
I'm sorry. If I'm dining out and I cannot find, I thought they were saying Cheddars, but he was saying Cheetahs? Where's Daryl? Is there a Cheetahs or a Cheddars in Atlanta? I don't know. His accent sometimes, I was like, is he saying Cheetahs? Or is that why he's saying Cheddars? Okay. My thing is this. You went out with you and like 6 other dudes, right? And this guy said, I can't find my debit card. Then you come back and Jay is gone. That's who got it. Unless Jay thought you were stiffing out on the bill and he gonna leave first before you do, but still you come back. Okay, y'all watch the rest of this because I'm just like, something is wrong.
So when I go over there, I'm like, yo, where'd Jay go? He's like, yeah, he's already left. And essentially we get there, like he left the bill. Like, so he left me with the entire bill. So he had already ran up the tab and then literally left. Like no bullshit.
It was Jay's idea to go eat
of all the food and drinks that everybody had at the table. So we're sitting at the table, and
how much was his tab? If you was it 1,000? Was it 800? What was it?
It was close to $500, like $500 to $600, somewhere in that range.
Wow.
Like I don't want to say the wrong amount because like I be trying to be on. Like I want to say I sent at least $400 to $500 Isaac Grace because Isaac Grace was there with all the other Jay Morrison guys, and they basically, you know how they all present this whole I'm rich. He's posting Isaac Grace made $900,000 and all this shit.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was like a real uncomfortable moment when I'm sitting there watching these guys kind of talking about who had ate what dollar amount of what food. Like it was like like you ever seen how people try to distribute the bill and it's like, all right, well I had like this right here and that right there. I had the water.
Oh, so it's a strip club.
It was just one of my uncomfortable moments. So I was like, yo, here. I'll send you 300 and I'll just cover like most, I'm thinking I'm covering most of the bill so he didn't have to worry about it. And then he was like basically they were still short. So I was like, here, man, here's an extra 100, to cover the rest of the bill. Like,
and this whole place was his idea. This whole eating thing was his idea.
Correct. Follow me. We about to go grab something to eat, and when we eat, he ran off on me, right? Let me see what my wrong side. All right. So yeah, basically, the whole that night was like the first kind of warning sign that like stuff didn't add up. At that point, I was like, maybe he was just drinking a little bit and he was tripping. So I didn't make too much of it. Like it was just kind of like one of those things. One of my buddies was like, hey, that's fucking weird. But like to me, I was trying to give him the benefit of the doubt. I was like, man, this dude got money. He's rich, right? Like, maybe he just, in my mind, like maybe he just was drunk and he just, he left. I was trying to like make an excuse for him. I'm like,
that was your first warning. That was like the fire is hot. Go ahead.
Yeah, it was definitely something to pay attention to. So a couple weeks go by, we're headed towards the marketing campaign to the booking Queen EJ's flight to Vegas. And Donnie G, Jay's personal assistant, reaches out to me. He's like, hey King, King Jay told me that he wanted me to send you Queen EJ's information to book her flight.
That's his wife, Jay's wife.
Like, book her flight? I'm like, what the fuck you mean? He's like, yeah, you're supposed to be booking her flight. King Jay said, like, you're supposed to be booking
King
Queen
Jay?
EJ's flight to Vegas. I was like, I'm not booking
Who is Queen EJ?
His wife. So basically, Jay had his assistant reach out to me to book her flight to the promo that we were doing in Las Vegas.
Her name Ernestine. This is what we're talking about. So they call her Queen EJ. Okay, I'm clear. Okay.
Yeah, they call her Queen EJ. So, essentially, like this was the second, like, incident of weird, like, fucking behavior of like, okay, why are you asking me to book your white flight? Like, That's real messed up. So we do the promo shoot, and then we like.
Okay, I'm gonna speed it up. Queen EJ.
Now I'm going back to why this is gonna be relevant for the whole Tulsa real estate fund stuff. Jay had when we had begun negotiating the contract for the event, we also have been having separate discussions about me actually running the Jay Morrison Academy as far as the coaching and helping them acquire real estate properties because they were needing an influx in business for the real estate side. So he had pitched me becoming the COO of the Jay Morrison Academy in hopes of helping bring in additional money.
Okay, so a COO is a chief operational officer of a company. That's the person that is in charge of like the venue, the personnel, the equipment, everything to make sure the company can run functionally. So that's what Jay, who's obviously seeing that Tony is bringing in the operational point. But Jay is trying to say, oh, he's, I guess, the CFO type person. Oh, I'm bringing in the money like a CFO. Okay, so that's what he's. Yeah. So, and also remember, this is the second incident. Why are you telling another man to get your wife's information to bring her to Las Vegas? Don't you? If you King Jay, why can't you bring Queen EJ? Lord. Okay.
That they could use, that part of their company. I said, I just want to see the talk about. I call people king, and I call people king even when they don't live like a king. Talk about I call people who are going to back out of the event. Approach me. I was like, wait a minute. Y'all trying to shame me. Send them a message, and I told him, I said, now I'm going back to why this is important because when I'm talking to Jay the following morning, I sent him a message and I told him, I said, hey man, after last night's conversation, I don't feel comfortable doing business beyond just the event. So we had already contracted for the event.
Smart.
So I told him I wouldn't have any interest in doing anything in regards to the Tulsa side or the Jay Morrison Academy. Basically, I was taking that off the table. I was no longer interested in helping them build, that part of their company. I said, I just want to see the event through. And then after that, we would reevaluate everything. Because at that point, it was so distasteful how they had approached me. I was like, wait a minute. Y'all trying to shame me. I'm not about to let you shame me when I'm living my life.
Okay, so basically, I fast forwarded that part. So basically what happened, since he said no to paying for Queen EJ's flight there, so obviously Queen EJ was probably had an attitude. So when she finally met Tony, Jay introduced Tony to her. Tony thought like, oh hey Queen EJ, how you doing? Da, 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 da. And they went on about his business. Later on, Jay is calling Tony, talking about my wife is concerned about you having a criminal background. Which is like, wait a minute. Jay, you got a criminal background. Why are you even letting your wife say this about Tony? But in the background, Queen EJ is calling him all type of damn names. And so finally, like Jay says, all this stuff that Tony says no to Jay's, hey, I don't want to be your COO of your company. I just want to do this event. Then all of a sudden, Jay is changing his tone about the event. And this is how Tony gets stiffed for $50,000.
The right way and doing everything the right way. Like, that's not what you're not about to do. I said, I look at you online, talk about I call people king and I call people king even when they don't live like a king because I believe in people always being kings, blah, blah, blah. Now you're trying to shame me. And in this actual in this conversation. So I tell them essentially, yeah, we can do the event, but basically the Jay Morrison Academy and all the back end stuff was off the table, the COO role. And then essentially the next day he sends me a message or an email stating that they were going to back out of the event.
Wait, but let's pause for a second. So a guy who continuously brings up that he don't want to be judged for being a crack dealer, because that's I've dealt with this because I've done videos like the one that I sent you from 2 years ago, and I brought it up in the context. Ain't nothing wrong with being somebody who went to prison. We go to prison at rates like never seen before. I've written on it. The problem I see is when you come out and you haven't, especially if you did something that involved moral character and you haven't changed or adjusted, and you manipulate and you use people, however be the case. So I come back to it. He don't want to be judged for the crack dealing, but then he's playing this respectability card, it sounds like, with your background. Is that right?
Right.
All right. Yeah, that's wild.
And to touch on that, I'm gonna just kind of jump over some stuff. Essentially, what Jay has done in the recent weeks and how he's tried to position this whole fallout with me is he now is trying to use my past again because he throws his wife out into it, right? Mm-hmm. So he's trying to make it seem like me and his wife had some sort of a disagreement, or I disrespected his wife and call her a bitch or something like that, to now go like, oh, I had to protect my queen and all that stuff. He's lied his ass off. Mm-hmm. Like, at no point, and up until recently, did I even say anything that was in disrespect towards Ernestine.
And this is the thing. Tony's, I guess you say, criminal incident was a domestic violence or domestic issue. Him and a girlfriend, I think, have been fighting, and I think some property or whatever got taken, and so he got arrested for that. And so Ernestine wanted to use that as, oh, something's wrong with Tony. I don't feel safe around him. Da, 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 da. I'm like, yes, your man sold drugs to the community. I mean, whatever.
Perfectly clear. I had so much respect for them that even when I called him back in January of this year, and I was having a conversation with him on a FaceTime call, Ernestine was in the background calling me bitch ass niggas and everything else. And I said, Jay, talk to your wife. And I at that time,
you, Don Panero.
I didn't even disrespect her still, because she was in the background sounding like a ghetto hood rat. Oh, fuck you. You just you trying to come up off the Morrison name. You're just a bitch ass nigga. Blah, 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 blah. Like all in the
and what was this call about that she's saying this? What were y'all as two men talking about?
This is back in January. Jay and I are on the phone negotiating with him giving me my money.
Yeah.
So we had basically went a while where we had went months where Jay hadn't.
So remember, the whole issue was Jay. Because remember, Tony was going to give away $50,000, and then Jay comes along and is like, "Oh, let me help you with this, and let's give $100,000 away, and then we'll divide up the ticket sales. We'll be able to give out that $100,000, and then we'll earn $2 million, and then we'll split the difference." But what Jay did, he pulled out at the last minute, which meant he also pulled out his $50,000. Okay. So Tony is left with paying all the bills now and giving away the $100,000 that he really wasn't supposed to do.
Done anything as far as trying to give me the money that was due from the ticket sales or anything that was a part of the event. And then he finally, picked up the phone and we had a conversation on a FaceTime call where he was like, all right, let's figure out something. Let's find a narrative that we can make that's fair for everybody, where we don't have to smear anybody's name and do this and do that. And I told him, I said, first off, Jay, what you did from the outset was to try to slander and paint a picture of me doing something unethical and wrong, like by using my past, because he even tried to picture it like I had said something about his wife. which is bullshit. But he knew that people would try to say, "Oh, Tony's got this thing with women. He's already had a domestic violence background." So he even put a post up that had a post. He put up a post on IG with him and his wife that said "teaching moment," and he goes into this whole thing about how a black man must protect the queen and all this shit. And I couldn't believe it. It had me furious. I was like, "You motherfucker! You are literally going to sit here and try to play off like on my past, knowing that I didn't say anything to your wife." Like, because as a man, if a man has said something like that about your wife, you should have came and looked me in my face.
I mean, I hear you. I'm trying to take it all in.
Like, he even caught himself in so many lies, because I even posted on my Instagram where when they backed out, when they sent me the email to back out of the event, he even said that he would even continue to speak in a capacity if I would choose to do so. So he even fucked up in his email when he sent me an email backing out. He even said, "Hey, understandably, if you don't want me to speak, I understand." So if I had disrespected your wife, why would you be saying that you would still be willing to speak in the event?
Let's go back to this event. What was the event actually about? Because that's what's not clear.
It was a real estate. It was a real estate event. It was supposed to be a real estate conference designed to basically teach you the entire process. I had brought a whole bunch of different people from the wholesaling aspect of real estate into one area to make it like, hey, you can get all the different gurus in one space.
That's not a good idea.
And okay, I guess I'm trying to ask, what made you think Jay Morrison was a guru in real estate? Like, what was your?
Like I said earlier in the call, I just went solely based off what I see online. You can't see the deleted comments. You can't see the fucking, like once you do your research, there's no false prophets. There's no when you're just going through and scrolling through. Because I was looking for people that had the influence online to set up the event. I didn't go through and do like background checks, and that was the mistake I made. I was just seeing it looks like he got 300, 400,000 followers. He's got a blue Instagram check.
See how beneficial it is to look up people.
Make it seem as if he's about black people. So to me, the same image that sells how he got $14 million from the black community is the same shit that I bought into.
$14 million.
And that thing, what you're pointing to is what I tried to cut off, 2 years ago. Because 2 years ago, he was about to get that money. I think he would have got $40 million. And when I read the paperwork, I just wanted to make clear everybody knew what they were signing up to, from the reverse keyman clause to the salaries that they paid themselves for 2 years prior to, or a year prior to even starting the fund, to even the fact that you do have people like the gentleman I interview, Avant, who talk about like being cheated, and I talk about that in my video. So I guess, it's an interesting setup. So now you have this real estate thing, and you have this guy who's supposed to be a guru, and you went off of that. And I guess I come to it now. The fallout is over the 100,000. What is the fallout is over the tickets? Explain that.
Okay, so when Jay became a partner with me in the event, we had essentially the ticket sales had already been coming into my merchant account. When Jay came on board, he asked that the ticket sales be handled by his Jay Morrison company. So we now have funneled all the money, the incoming ticket sales from the event, to the Jay Morrison Academy. So they were now getting all the ticket sales that were coming in. So there was $69,500 or so in ticket sales that happened during the time that Jay was a part of the event. Jay gave me $20,000 of that money to pay expenses one time, in which I had to wait for that for quite some time. So that left about $49,500 in the actual strip account that was from ticket sales. We had $69,500 in ticket sales that had went through the merchant account. He had paid me $20,000 that I had to spend on audio video out of the $69,000. So that would leave $49,500. That $49,500 to this day has not been seen by me nor my company. They have held on to that plus whatever alleged refunds they have given out or whatever. I don't know what that is. Plus, there was supposed to be $50,000 that Jay was doing as part of the giveaway, but 2 weeks before the event, he just backs out and says basically like, fuck you, I'm not doing it. So, he comes up with an idea to do a $100,000 giveaway, and then 2 weeks before the giveaway is supposed to take part, he backs out.
So look, so where we're at is we're at a point where you.
Okay, I'm gonna stop here because there's a lot more of the video that I could show you, and there's actually other videos where Jay has scammed other people, and he's used his image to do so. But I want to give, because I see Matt Church's his comments. I know you want to say something. And the one thing I want to say about Tony, what he's going to mention is he didn't get his $49,500 back from Jay. Then he had to pay. Remember, he's supposed to give out $100,000 to the event, so he has to pay that. And when it was all said and done, he had to go into his savings, his other accounts to pay all that, and he's left holding the bag. So when it was over with, Tony asked him, like, hey, Tone asked Tony, hey, are you going to sue him? What happened? And so Tony says, well, after it happened, I was in no position to sue him because you have to pay for a lawyer and you have to pay for court fees. So because of the conference, he had no money to even sue him in court. So this happened, I think, in 2008. No, 2009. So now it's 2020. It's August. I think he did this last month. And so now he says, yes, I have money to sue him in court and take him in court and get, what I want. But he says in doing so, getting evidence about, Jay, that Jay is a scammer for his case, he's found other victims of Jay Morrison. And other victims have been coming forward and telling him their dealings with him, his ex-wife, ex-girlfriend, people he worked with, people who invested in his company. And so that's what led to, and I guess I'll do that next week, that's what led to the protest about a couple of weeks ago, because it was Tony, the closer, people who worked for Jay Morrison, and people who had invested with him or got scammed out of some money. And they, because they said, what Tony said was, it's going to take a while for him, like, go to court and sue him and get that money back. And they feel that if they all kind of like protest outside of his home or outside the Legacy Center, that things will happen much quicker, because of it. So, because he said, he has the money now to sue him, but back then, a couple months ago, last year, he didn't have the money to do that. And he said, not everybody is going to have money to sue him and go through that whole process in court, So, but yeah, it was so many red flags. Yeah, you know what? You're right, Fuller Effect. I didn't hear him say anything that he signed with Jay. Because how did he convince you that the Jay Morrison Academy is going to collect the ticket sales? Life is lame. Life is lame. Life is lame, man. Look like Pastor Church. Yep. And you see how he was name dropping? Hold on, what did you say? Exactly, man. Churches, these people who actually do these things, they can do that and so much more because they're really, really good at it. But this man is supposed to be a millionaire. He was on the cover of magazines. They were doing news stories about him. and you couldn't help put on an event. So it looks like to me your whole intent was to scam him out of 50 grand. And it seemed like once the man told you, no, I'm not going to help you be the COO of your J. Morrison Academy so he could get more legitimacy, he turned everything on his head. I didn't hear not one contract. Yes. But you're right, Dee. He should. This is the thing, though. He didn't do a background check on Jay Morrison. That was his first mistake. Then you went to that house and Matt Tracy said, you couldn't pay. This was not this man's house. This was a rented place. Okay. Then he skipped out on a bill. That's telling me you broke. Either that or you're the one who stole my credit card or my debit card. Okay. And then your wife, then you call me to get your pay for your wife's flight. Why am I paying for your wife's flight? She live with you. Okay. Then you stiffed me 2 weeks before the event. So I feel like Tony saw flags, but because he kept looking at this image like, oh, this man can't be a really bad person, all he saw was flags. He didn't see red flags. He just saw flags. You know, that's what Kevin says. Sometimes you see things, you got tunnel vision, you see things with rose-colored glasses. So when you see the red flags, they look just like flags. Marcel said, if I couldn't be, that would have been a wrap. Oh, okay. Hey, Matt Charles, can you put your event in our chat? I want to watch it later. Yeah. And yeah, he should have found victims, but now that he is a victim of Jay Morrison, like I said, and I remember I was talking to Matt Charles last week. He was like, "Oh, if there's a problem, they should, sue him in court." This man didn't have no money to sue him in court. He had to pay for the conference, the people who came, and the winners. And then once he got enough money, then he could sue and go to court. But those other people, he felt like once he started gathering all the stuff for his case, he started meeting more other victims. And he was like, okay, we just all got to get together and protest around this man's house to get him to stop. I get y'all money back. You know. So there's probably more and more victims out there. The same thing I feel about Umar Johnson. You have to think about it. Why are there nobody from the schools where he worked? Why are they not talking? Are they ashamed because they got victimized, or were they co-conspirators? And are there more victims out there, but they're just scared, especially since your donation was so small? You know, like he said, you only needed $500 to donate to the Tulsa Real Estate Fund. You're only getting an 8% return. That's $40. $40. And if there's a profit, you get split with the fund manager. That sounded good, but it was like, it sounds too good. Yeah, he was almost bankrupt. Almost bankrupt. Just so hopefully y'all can learn from these different videos that I'm gonna do. Jay Morrison is gonna be the second person in my series. I'm probably gonna do a part 2 of this next week where we look at the people like he has another business partner that he worked with. He has one of the employees. That one was something else. And I want us to look at the protests I might need some help. I might need to get Matt Trust see if he's not too busy, or just might have to go through it myself. There's an SEC report that just came out this past week, and I just need to go. I need to go through it so we can talk about it. Because, yeah, it's like what happened to Thomas is that he might not be doing anything illegal, but he's definitely doing some unethical things that are not good for business. Not good businessman. But life is late. He had no money. He had no money to sue him. Unless you just want to call his bluff, that still means months, weeks in a courtroom. Don, I'm gonna have to go. I'm gonna have to talk about that one next week. We've been here almost 2 hours, so yeah. Talking about the Jay Morrison Academy and his co-workers and the protests and everything. Yeah. Where is what link? Oh, you want to talk? Hold on. There you go. You said no small parts, you mean smart parts. Yeah, that's what I got that from Tony Talks. That's the interview. That's the interview Tony the Closer gave with Tone Talks about how like literally 2 weeks before the event. 2 weeks before the event. Okay, life is late. You're not understanding this. Life is late. When Tony the Closer had his event, he had no money to pay a lawyer or to pay court fees to get his money back from Jay Morrison. He had to wait till he got himself some money from his next real estate transaction himself until he could get money to take him to court. He can take him to court now. I think he is taking him to court now. But Tony the Closer says he's found more victims. Hey, Matt Church Disease.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, hopefully everybody else can hear me also. I'm sorry to kind of slide up in here, but of course, I'm working and I didn't have my setup. But I just
know we know you are a reputable, ethical businessman.
I just had to come in here because there were so many red flags that I cannot believe. And now I
didn't catch what you just said. Because I thought his first red flag was the dinner, but you were like, no, the first red flag, you went to the house, you couldn't pee, and I'm thinking, like, you know what?
Oh yeah.
I got a bad bladder. That wouldn't have been good.
Well, I have been into some homes that there were mansions that were rented for us to have a party that particular night. I did that for a movie executive one time, and I mean it was a wonderful night. We knew that the place was rented, but actually the place was rented so that some of the people that had stayed at my gala actually spent the night at the mansion that night that we went to this particular mansion. And so there's so many red flags. First of all, let's start with the fact that I can't pee. Let's start with let's start with the fact that we can't.
And you and me both know what we're like when we can't go to the restroom.
my thing is this: you tell me this is your home, but I can't go in the inside and I can't use the bathroom. That is a huge red flag, and you're a multi-millionaire. That's a big problem. That's a big red flag for me. That's a big red flag. My second red flag is when these types of, and honest to goodness, the P thing ain't my first real big red flag. My real big red flag is, how in the world are you out here on social media promoting yourself the way that you're promoting yourself? And then when it comes to doing business with other people, the first thing that you want to say is, why can't you and I partner together? If you're a millionaire and this is your life's work and this is what you have been doing and these are the causes that you've been working on, you don't need my $50,000 in order to offer them $100,000. If we're selling tickets to the event, then the ticket sales from the event will help us to offset the cost of the giveaway or whatever that we're giving away. And the reason why I put my event in the chat, which is a horrible video of me because I was sweating all bad that night, but I put that up. I put that video in there to let you guys know we had a full red carpet event in my city, and the woman that we actually paid her. We had wine sponsors. We had all sorts of things. So I didn't have to come out of my pocket with a whole lot of things. Not even the venue. The venue was donated. Okay, you understand what I'm saying? So, I mean, to hear this man say, oh, you know, all of these things that were transpiring, is just, to me, I understand that maybe they just don't know how to do business, or maybe they were just intimidated by Jay's celebrity. Because, see, here's another thing that I sense in this situation. A lot of times people who are doing business with celebrities and people like Jay Morrison, they get intimidated. And they get intimidated and they get scared and they don't want to ask, you know, pertinent questions. And then they just kind of acquiesce to whatever Jay says. And then him interjecting his wife saying, oh, well, my wife has a problem with, you know, da, 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 da. Well, first of all, sir, I'm not doing business with your wife, so I could really care less what your wife thinks or says. Now, either you and I are going to do business or we're not going to do business and we can part ways. That's another little thing for me. Then, when you do want to do business, you take me to Cheetah's. Now, I've been to Cheetah's in Hollywood.
Did he say Cheetah's or Cheddar's?
No, he said Cheetah's.
Is it Cheetah's or Cheddar's?
He said Cheetah's. Cheetah's. That's why I was asking.
So Cheetah's in Atlanta is a strip club.
Well, Cheetah's in California is a strip club.
Lamb chops.
Well, I don't never eat at the strip club, so I don't know anything about that.
So ask Daryl about Cheetah's.
Okay, so my thing is this. So let me say this. If by any chance that it is a strip club and he did say Cheetah's, because that's what I thought he said was Cheetah's. When I'm doing business, and I've had business meetings where I've gone to strip clubs and had business, but normally I don't eat in the strip club, because anytime you're sitting down in a strip club and you know, excuse my French, titties is all in your face, it's a distraction, and he's trying to distract me for some odd reason. So I'm either not going to pay attention to what's being said, and he's there trying to just, you know, ham up and have a good time, or pretty much that's a distraction. So the legs and the lamb chops was a distraction. I just
think that it was kind of convenient that he couldn't find his debit card. I'm just like, wait a minute.
Well, honestly, all these niggas is lying. Him with this whole fake, I couldn't find my debit card. Nigga, you know you was going out to dinner and you knew where you was going to dinner. And I'll give you the fact that maybe you couldn't find your debit card. But when you're dealing with people like this, hopefully he had an assistant or you had somebody present who could have just cash app you. Listen, this is the 21st century. If I lost my debit card, I can go into my cash app and I can Zelle you the money.
That's what I thought maybe he meant by the other guy who was at Jay Morrison Academy, that he said, oh yeah, I was just gonna send him the money. So I thought, like, okay, did he cash app him or something? I forgot to ask him. 2018 they had Cash App back then. It's not that long. We had Cash App,
they had Venmo,
PayPal,
they had Zelle, they had PayPal. Yeah. There's everything out there. So these are all excuses. And so when you're doing business with people like this and these types of individuals, my first thing is the first red flag that comes up for you. And I always tell Daryl and I always tell everybody, pay attention to your first mind. If your first mind says, there's something wrong here, 9 times out of 10, there's something wrong. Jay is rich on paper. Jay is rich on Instagram. Jay is rich on social media. But in actuality and liquidity, Jay don't have no money. And that's why you're trying to partner up with everybody and trying to get everybody to foot the bill. And here's another problem what he mentioned. When he said that they wired the money from the ticket sales. Now, let me tell y'all something. I'm going to tell y'all something right here.
See, I had a problem with that, something he said before that, and I just called it. He said, Jay, like he said, I was handling my company or my people were handling the ticket sales. But he said when Jay came on, Jay said that his company would handle the ticket sales. And I'm thinking to myself, you letting a total stranger handle ticket sales to your event?
Yeah, which is a no-no. Now here's a no. But here's a no-no, and I don't know the exact time sequence of that. Was that after he had got stiffed at the dinner table? Was that after the fact that he couldn't pee? Was it after the fact that his wife disrespected him? I mean, there's so many red flags in this situation, ladies and gentlemen, that I'm just sitting over here, and I'm sorry, and I know this ain't funny, but I'm laughing my ass off because I can't believe these people could be this stupid. And I'm sorry, I just feel like they are dumb. And so it's like, okay, whatever.
And it's a real thing because with the Umar Johnson thing, you can say, okay, he's taking advantage of, people don't have enough money, but he's probably smarter than them, and they think like, oh, help them support the black man. Okay.
But these
real estate people, or at least Tony, is supposed to be a little bit more educated than the regular person, and Jay is scamming him.
Well, let me just say this. There's two things I want to say,
Or
and then I'm
other rich people. I think there's a football player or somebody that Jay scammed money out of.
I'm gonna say two things, and then I'm gonna shut up.
Okay.
The first thing is when I paid someone to take care of my event. First of all, I hired somebody to handle all of that stuff. That's not something that I'm going to be handling. I'm not trying to find out who's going to be, the musicians and who's going to be handling all of this stuff. That's not something I'm going to do. So I made sure that I paid someone to handle those types of things. That's the first thing. The second thing is when he said that he was going to have the ticket sales funneled through his company, and he forwarded $60,000 of the already ticketed sales to Jay Morrison. I'm going to tell you what that is right there. Jay Morrison is going to still have that guy on the hook for that $60,000 with the IRS because the ticket sales went through his company. It didn't go through Jay Morrison's company. Jay Morrison got the money for the ticket sales, but the ticket sales, the tax liability, and all that other thing is going to go through the other dude because he is the one who was collecting the ticket sales. So he's already put himself in a financial liability situation with the IRS, and therefore it's a little bit of a catch-22 kind of situation. Ladies and gentlemen, I only came on here to tell you this. If you're going to do things on a professional level like this, you hire someone to handle it and you sign contracts. And I'll end my statement by saying this. Kim, when I played for my event, the lady that I hired to handle the event had to sign a contract. Not only did she sign a contract for the $10,000, but she also guaranteed me that I would make my $10,000 back. Okay, so when you sign contracts and you do it in a proper way, you will make sure that you get what you need back, et cetera, et cetera. And so that's all I have to say.
I agree with you. I didn't think about that. Like, yeah, he has to report that income, but his business partner backed out and took his portion of the money with him. So I guess when he goes to court, he's gonna have to ask him for that $49,500, then plus on top of that.
Ooh, that's some Larry Reed money right there.
Stuff.
Well, no, he gonna ask. Wait a minute. He gonna have to ask for the $49,000 back. He gonna have to ask for the money for dinner back. He gonna he gonna have to ask for a whole bunch of money.
Can I also get pain and suffering because I couldn't go pee?
Yeah, because that was gonna be my next statement. I'd want some money for pee and suffering. Forget pain and suffering. I want it for pee and suffering.
Compensatory damages and punitive damages.
Yeah, just ridiculous. Ridiculous. The whole thing's ridiculous.
Is this the entertainment arm of his real estate ministry? Oh, okay. I'm just wondering. I'm just wondering. I was listening on the TV, but my mama was cussing me out Wow. So I couldn't stay in the comments.
You didn't call her?
Yeah, she cussed me out because I didn't do my daily call, you know. So I got cussed out. And, you know, when an 84-year-old woman cuss you out, all thing you can do is drop your head and take it. So
yeah,
I'm glad y'all don't have to experience getting cussed out by an 84-year-old woman, and you're a grown man in your own house. So
I got an 82-year-old woman over here that does whatever the hell she wants.
well, she kind of, you know, when they get that age, they can pretty much do that. You just have to take it on.
I think some of this shit is. I'm sorry. I think some of this stuff is her just like she just don't give a fuck. Some of it I think is dementia, but the other part is like I'm 82 years old. I don't have to do shit.
I don't give a damn.
And I'm just gonna ignore you.
But I'm 51.
I'm gonna go back to my TV now.
I'm like that, and I'm 51, so I can only imagine what I'd be like when I hit 84 if God let me live another 33 years. So I can relate. I can definitely relate. But yeah, I took the L. I took it.
You think he's gonna? No, but Jay has already done that. He's done he's done a Bishop breadbasket before. He's done bankruptcy before.
Let
me tell you do it a second time?
Let me tell you something about this guy that I do know. Back, I think either right as I moved here or I was in New York, he got into it at a very high-end restaurant in Atlanta called Houston. And T.I. had a problem at the same restaurant. And they did a protest rally. First he did it, then T.I. And because of the protesting that they did, the restaurant shut down.
I remember.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Houston's restaurant right there in Buckhead. And that's when this guy came on my radar was then. I had never heard of this cat before that protest. He was talking about he was having some business meeting there and how rude the people were. And that's when I first heard of Jay Morrison. I started following him then because I didn't know nothing about him doing real estate. He was a strictly on the community activist tip at that point. I knew nothing about the other stuff. And now you're doing this. You've done your background on him and you start, he's in the real estate. I'm like, whoa, where did that come from? But now that you've been talking about him, I started looking up into his past. That's how he made his come up on real estate. And because I thought he was just a motivational speaker / community activist. Now you put the whole real estate pyramid scheme, Ponzi scheme thing out there. I don't do with them Ponzi schemes.
This isn't new. Ephraim Taylor did the same thing with Eddie Long.
You missed that part because one of the videos made the connection between Ephraim and Jay. They're both offering helping their community, but they're really
scamming.
They're really scamming.
Ephraim's in jail because he came to
Newburgh. Was Missouri or something? He was in Missouri.
They caught up with him when they got him when he was in Kansas, hiding somewhere in Kansas. And he came to New Birth when I was still living in Atlanta, and he scammed the members of New Birth out of, I want to say, $100 to $300, almost $300,000. Some of these people lost their entire savings behind that. And Bishop Long came out and tried to get him to do right and get these people their money back and da-da-da-da-da-da. It was a whole mess. I mean, it was a whole mess. This guy took their money and got on the run with it. So that Ephraim Taylor is a crook. So if him and Ephraim Taylor are in the same vein, man, wow.
That's great. Life is life. But this making me also want to since you said that because remember Tony Closer said that Jay Tony like, oh, I can get Jamal Bryant because I go to his church.
Wow.
So it's making me think: is he scamming people at New Birth?
Yeah, I'm sure he is.
Well, I'm pretty sure he is.
Oh, Lord.
But get this though. When those guys like Ephraim Taylor and this Jay Morrison cat go to these churches, they pay the pastors normally to say, hey, let me come talk to your congregation. So they slide them a little honorarium, might be $30,000, $40,000, $50,000. Because like when he came to New Birth that time, when Ephraim Taylor came to New Birth, it got out that he had given Bishop Long like $50,000 to come up there. So that was just a drop in the bucket because of the money he knew he was going to get from the people in the audience. Because a lot of millionaires at that time were members of New Birth before the scandal broke with Bishop Long. A lot of very wealthy black people were in the congregation. I mean, lots of millionaires were sitting up in there. So I don't know how the makeup of New Birth's membership is now, because from what I'm understanding, it's a lot younger congregation. So I don't know if this guy Morrison is going to be able to get the dollars that Ephraim Taylor got out the New Birth congregation. But hopefully with this video and the people on his tail about him being a crook, hopefully he won't even get to come up in New Birth and talk about his hustle.
Yeah, because
but time will tell.
It's false. I know Tone Talks, Yvette Carnell has been on them, and lately False Prophets has really been putting out video after video on him. And whatever happened to Common Sense, he's another economist. He has his own channel, and he's been looking at. He said a lot of what Jay Morrison is doing is really bad business. He said he's really a bad businessman.
Except for himself, of course.
Except for him, yeah. He said he's really a bad businessman. And he said you're not doing anything illegal, technically illegal, but it's unethical. It's bad for business. However, some of the other people feel like, no, he's a scammer.
Well,
he knows what he's doing, and he's
but legally on paper.
On paper.
Yeah, on paper, he's probably going to get away with this, because if the only part that he's going to have trouble with is the fact that he presented this as an IPO, and that's why the SEC is involved, because there are certain licenses and things that you have to have in place in order to make claims that, certain things that you're going to do with the Securities and Exchange Commission, and as well as taking money from individuals for, what you want to deem as an IPO. So he's going to have issues there. But what I sense probably what's going to happen to him there, they're probably going to hit him with a fine. But if the media gets a hold of this and they make a really big deal out of this, then he'll probably end up going to jail.
If he has more victims come forward and they do another goddamn protest at his goddamn house.
Well, if I was Jay Morrison, I'd be like that white governor and that other lady. I'd be outside my house with a weapon, pointing it right at y'all asses. Get off my lawn.
Guess what Jay Morrison tried to do? He tried to do a restraining order, and they said no, it doesn't.
Well,
work.
I mean, if you, but
they're like it's First Amendment right, and they are on property. It's not on public property.
Well, my thing is,
they do it across the street, so.
Right, I got you. I just think people should not be so stupid. Let me just say this. I'm on here.
Like I can see Tony like, okay, he's doing some. He should have known better. But what about the others? All of them?
Okay.
All of them were wrong.
Let me put it to you this way.
Okay.
The same thing that Jay Morrison is doing, many preachers and pastors have been doing for years, and y'all ain't saying nothing about it. Y'all ain't camped out in front of their houses. Y'all ain't asked for none of your money back. You ain't never done none of these preachers have been doing the same thing. They sell you a dream and they give you all of this ethereal stuff. The Lord's gonna do, And then the next thing you know, they riding off in the sunset with a Rolls Royce and you standing there left holding the proverbial bag looking like a dum-dum. And here's the thing. What do you think in a pastor's appreciation service is, Kimberly? It's the pastor saying, hey, buy us this. We want to go on vacation. We want to do this and we want to do this. Why would you spend your own money when you can get other people to spend their money and do those things for you? That's exactly what Jay and these preachers have been doing for years, and it is nothing different. The pastor just calls it an anniversary service. They bring gifts and lay them at the feet of the pastor. When he say, oh, he want to take his wife on a vacation, who pays for it? The church pays for it. They say, oh, pastor, we love you and we want y'all to be comfortable and we go ahead and pay for y'all the trip to Maui. Y'all going over there and we'll go ahead and pay for the trip. Who buys the pastor's car and all of the stuff? All of that stuff the church pays for and is doing. So why in the world would Jay Morrison not use that same kind of blueprint? If I can get you to pay for my wedding and pay for the excursions and pay for everything, why wouldn't I? Why wouldn't I? I mean, come on, he's just a marketing guy. And well, don't get me started.
Okay, so you're saying he's justified in what he's doing?
I didn't say what he was justified, but I'm going to say what he's doing is not illegal. And y'all ain't been complaining when the pastors and the preachers been doing this for all these years. Y'all ain't said a word.
Some of us have been complaining, but we were, drowned out.
Well, I know I've been complaining, but I'm just saying.
That's what I'm saying. You've been complaining, we've been complaining, but now we've been, we're becoming more of the majority, not the minority, when it comes to this.
Well, all I can say is, well, maybe they can keep, throwing all their money and giving all their money, so sooner or later they can have Ida B. Wells veggie wrap. Marcus Garvey 1, 2, 3. I'm just saying.
Y'all need to stop. Y'all need to stop. Y'all have made me drop my damn phone.
Y'all, these black people, because somebody is black and because somebody black says it, does not mean that you cannot scrutinize and you cannot hold them up to the light to determine whether or not the stuff that they're saying is accurate or not.
Say it again, please. I'm tired of people saying, "Oh, y'all just haters. Y'all just putting the black man down." Some of these black people are hurting other black people.
Look, there's nothing wrong with you doing an investigation and looking up information to determine. But the first red flag is if I come to your house and you tell me I can't pee, I'm out.
Nah, I'm going to pee in the bushes.
Because even a 7-Eleven let you pee. You go to 7-Eleven and pee.
Well, not in California.
Normally. Well, yes, we can't not right now because of the COVID. But normally we can walk into 7-Eleven and pee. I'm just saying. You go to a mansion with a millionaire and you can't pee?
Yeah. Let me ask a question because Daryl's on here. Daryl, what's the name? Is there a Cheddar's or a Cheetah's in Atlanta?
A strip club, Cheetah's.
Oh, it's called Cheetah's. I kept hearing the man say
like
Cheetah's. I'm like, I thought
animal.
he was saying
it's like the
animal.
I answered the question for her, but I guess my answer wasn't good enough.
No,
see, Marcellus.
But you know, he goes to places like that.
That's why I was about to say, Marcellus
I told you I had been to Cheetah's already. Didn't I tell you I'd already been to
sorry.
Cheetah's?
You know what?
But see,
That's my ears. I didn't hear. I was
the straight laced guy. She knows I'm the heathen. She know I frequent places like that.
I didn't say you was heathen. She didn't want to see.
She didn't want to sully your good reputation with the honeybees.
I thought you said I heard.
Didn't I tell y'all I almost got kicked out of a strip club? Oh, I almost got kicked out, but that was the club I almost got kicked out of.
Oh, you didn't tell us that last time. You didn't tell us the story.
Well, see, Daryl
California.
Well, see, the cigar vlogger used to work at a strip club, so she knows I have experience talking about places such as that. And we know you're a fine, upstanding gentleman. We don't want to sully your reputation amongst the followers of the 18.
There's nothing about a titty that sullies my reputation. I don't understand what you're talking about.
I'm just saying they expect stuff like that from the cigar vlogger, so they give me a pass. Well, I want to keep your good reputation up because we need you down the line because you're a fine, upstanding Christian man.
So I guess you can't believe in Jesus and like titties as well. Is that what they're trying to say? Is that what you're insinuating?
No, sir. We just we don't want your character besmirched by
whatever.
Like that. But
all I'm gonna just tell y'all is titties and tater tots at the strip club don't match. So you don't go to the strip club to eat. You go to the strip club for others.
Well,
okay,
let me on what you're eating.
Well, yeah, I guess that's true.
There is sex in the champagne room.
That is very true. I guess I should take
that. Yes, sir. So I'm just I've seen it all. I've seen celebrities doing some very interesting things in the VIP.
All right.
Some of the who's who of the R&B world, and I'm talking about the females. I ain't talking about the guys.
I remember you told me that.
So just it's a lot of things partaking in there. So and we don't want to sully your good reputation, sir. So we need one fine, upstanding gentleman.
So if you went to Cheetah's, how was the lamb chops?
I didn't have lamb chops. I didn't go there to eat. I told you I don't eat at strip clubs. That to me is nasty.
I do. They have some good chicken fingers up in them strip clubs.
No.
Chicken finger basket, $5.50 back in the day. You get full and get you a lap dance. EKOC.
Roxanne. Shut up.
Yeah, me neither, Roxanne. I never ate at the strip club. I never would do that. Now I'll drink there, but I surely am not going to eat there.
Hot wings, hamburgers, fries. I used to work in one strip club. They had a buffet. You get a whole bunch of nachos with cheese and ground beef. Those some good nachos too. All you could eat while you get you a
Christine
lap
said
dance.
Jesus made titties, so it's okay, Marcellus.
Oh yeah, I know it's. Oh yeah, I'm fine. Trust me, there ain't no problem with me.
God was showing off when He made titties. Bless His heart.
Good night, poetic vibes.
Good night. Good night.
Good night.
Yeah, I don't understand this whole thing, but see, he got distracted with the titties and the lamb chops, and he didn't even know he was being set up. I don't understand why people just don't be paying attention to these clues.
I ain't never
But
been
it's like
set up in.
it's like with those movies when the what do you call it, magician or the whatever, they're like misdirection.
Yeah, shell game. Get you looking one way and then the hustle comes from the other direction. That's life in general though. But these con artists are something else. In the modern age of technology, I don't know how people are still falling for these okie dokes. I don't know. I mean, all it takes if you people ignore the red flags. If you just do a Google search on somebody, I'm not gonna give anybody $1 without Google searching them. I want to know if you got warrants. I want to know if you've been accused of scandal. I want to know if you've been turned into the SEC. I want to know if you've been brought up on any kind of charges. I want to know if you got an alias. I'm going to find that out. If I'm going to write you a check or give you a cashier's check or cash app you or wire transfer, anything that's financial, I'm going to find out everything I need to know about you to make myself comfortable with the deal. And then I'm still going to talk to a lawyer.
And I'll go a step further. I ain't got to the place now to where I even look you up on if I order something on Facebook. Like this shit that keep popping up in your news feed, it looks really good, and you try to go buy it on Facebook, and it's some company in China, and when you really look them up, they got all bad reviews, and you can't get what you need.
Yes, I started looking at reviews of different products of different companies.
Yeah, these companies out here scamming Americans. Their whole job is to scam us and to get our money.
Did with Jay Morrison, because I was like, they said, when I heard that, he might possibly be a scammer, and I was like, okay, let me go look up his business on the Better Business Bureau, because he's selling a product, and I'm just like, half the views were like, I like it, and the other half was like, they taking too long to call me back. I'm asking for my refund. I'm just like.
Well, the Better Business Bureau to me is not the end all be all, because in order for you to be,
it's not. But it was like,
right.
I didn't see nothing on Yelp, I guess you could say.
Right, but the best when it comes to the Better Business Bureau, you have to pay to be into the Better Business Bureau, and if you don't pay them, they normally don't give you a good rating. And so it's just a whole nother little kit and caboodle.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so it's a whole
telling me something new.
You have to pay, just so you know, for the good ratings.
Didn't know that. Interesting. Learn something every day. Dropping everything.
But just as an ethical business person, I'll give you guys a perfect example. I did business with somebody here on YouTube. I was trying to help them do something, but they didn't want to wait for me to do it. And they didn't want to wait for the time for me to complete the work. They sent me an email back and they say, I'd like a refund. I emailed them and refunded them the same day. Just in a general principle, you should just be like, okay, here's your money back. Just be done with it. Because I don't want to, first of all, I don't want you to think I'm getting rich off of whatever you gave me. That's number one. And then number two, I need for you to understand that we're doing business. And if you don't have enough confidence that I'm able to complete the work or do the work, I want you to be able to walk away, and for both of us to walk away and feel comfortable walking away. Simple as that.
You're right. You're absolutely right. Well, I've been almost on here 2.5 hours.
I'm ready to go.
Okay, me too. Thank you so much, Marcellus, for coming on and giving us your expert advice. Thank you, moderators. Thank you, newcomers, new visitors, new subscribers, those of you who are in the bushes. Please share this to help someone not to be a scammer. There's probably going to be somebody on your Facebook who thinks Jay Morrison is wonderful. He's doing really great things in the community, and you need to let them know you need to keep your $500
Yep.
to yourself. Put it in the bank.
Yep.
Okay. And I will come with hopefully a part 2. What you say, Daryl?
I'm gonna get them niggas.
Get him, Daryl. Get him.
I'm gonna get them niggas.
It's an inside joke between me and Daryl. We trying to say that. About these scammers and stuff going on. So y'all have a good night. Wednesday, we're gonna have Mr. Darren Moore, the cigar blogger, at 8 p.m.
Tomorrow
Eastern
night.
tomorrow night. On Thursday, we're gonna have Mr. Mad Church Disease Marcellus McMillan, and then this Friday we are going to be on Darren Moore's channel for Friday Night Live, and then me and Roxanne are coming back Saturday night, 10 p.m. Central Standard Time, for Ladies Night. And this week we're talking about toxic females, aka crazy bitches. Bring your crazy bitch stories.
Now, if I say that, they'll want to ban me from all social media, but y'all get a pass.
Yes. Like I tell people, stay in your racial lane, stay in your gender lane. That's like I'm a heterosexual. I don't use the F word.
Oh, I got a special nut bill for Friday. It seems I have some going around social media saying that I'm sexual profiling because I didn't want to. I rebuffed their advances, so I'm sexually profiling.
What? That don't even make no sense.
I had to Google what sexual profiling meant, so I was accused of that.
I need to Google it too. You need to send me the definition. This is the first.
Yeah, because of that post I made the other day about. I said if your man.
But it was a joke. Even
but
the other people who were in the LGBT community thought it was funny.
Yeah, but he's accused me of being a sexual profiler. Nutville 2.0.
Okay, y'all. We got a
Nutville.
And also, please, if you are looking to be a winner this week, please go to my Nutville from last Friday on my channel and please comment. Because last week, we did not have a winner because guess what? We didn't have too many subscribers, and that we even picked at least 3 people just in case, one of them could be there last weekend, and they were not there. So it really pays for you to be here every week. We rotate on the channel. Okay? All right. Y'all have a good night. Rest. See y'all in Darren Moore's chat tomorrow.
I'm gonna get all of them. It's going
down. This is what he does all the time.
I'm gonna get
that. I try to be serious.
I'm for
real.
Share,
subscribe. I'll talk to y'all later.
I'm gonna get all of you. All of you.
You're crazy. Good night.